Hello my fellow Raiders, Doomers, Crusaders, Mutts, and Fivers. It is I, Nathan, here again with another Indiana Jones cosplay video. So a couple days ago, or about a week now, I posted some new cosplay shots in my indie gear. But it wasn't just any normal shoot, I was representing the looks of all 5 films. And today, I thought I would break down the gear, the individual pieces of gear that make up each one of those looks, starting of course with the film that started it all. Before we continue, yes, the background has changed. While I would love to continue filming in the location just off screen here, the California heat is not kind to indie cosplayers such as myself. So instead of passing out due to heat stroke, I would like to continue this video in a nice shady area. And here's the Raiders gear. Not only the film that started the entire Indiana Jones series, but started my obsession with collecting his gear. This is by far my favorite look for Indy, seconded only to the Last Crusade look, especially with the tie, and I'll get to why when we reach Last Crusade, but I just love the entire look of Indy's gear from Raiders. It's very realistic and screams 30s adventure, from the officer-style pinks to the jacket that he wears to the gloves, which is something that I'm sad has never been carried through the rest of the series. This was a very realistic and very good idea. Anyone who has done any kind of adventuring will tell you that leather gloves are your best friend. And these are my replica Raiders gloves. These are not Wells Lamont's. I have a video talking about these, which I will leave in the description below or in a little text bubble up above. These were made by my good buddy Brian Long of Jonesing for Props, and love these things, and I go over them in full detail in that video. So continuing on, we have the Raiders jacket. Now this is not a 100% accurate replica. This is a U.S.Wings Raiders jacket. So while it looks the part, there are small little bits and pieces here that are not accurate. It's very much what my buddy Trent Ryan says, a bomber jacket made to look like an indie jacket. But it's very comfortable. It's made of a really soft cowhide, but it's very heavy like cowhide, so that's kind of one of the reasons that I am sweating like crazy right now. I'll give it a quick turnaround so you can see it. I have done a little bit of modification to this jacket in the fact that I removed the D-rings and replaced them with wested roller buckles. And these buckles were so kindly donated to me by my buddy Morgan Loft. This was off his Wested Legacy Hero, I think. If I am wrong on either of those accounts, please let me know, Morgan or Trent, because Trent was the one who removed them in the first place. But I love these rollers. They look fantastic, and they make it just that little more accurate. And of course, underneath the jacket, we have the safari shirt. Take this off. Here's the safari style shirt. Everybody knows the shirt. Everybody loves the shirt. This is a What Price Glory replica. There are a lot of people who make indie shirt replicas. There is, of course, What Price Glory, there's Wested, there is Magnolia Clothiers, there's Costume Base, and I think there's a handful more, but I have always preferred the What Price Glory shirts because they just seem to me the more correct color in the terms of an Indiana Jones shirt. They have that nice stone color. The bag and bag strap, of course. The bag is original, World War II, Mark 7. I think this one is from 43. I used to know the full details of this specific bag. But I bought this off eBay, one of my favorites. It is a Raider style because it has the larger side loop here. And then of course it has a Raider style buckle from What Price Glory, which was given to me by Morgan Loft. Thank you very much, bud. Moving down to the pants, these are not Wested, they're not Magnolia, they are actually not Indiana Jones pants. These are wonderful close enoughs that I found from Crofton Barrow. I actually have another pair of these in a darker brown that I tend to use for Last Crusade and Crystal Skull, because in my eye they just kind of match perfectly. And I thought that's what these were going to be because I bought them offline. And it turns out, no, they are actually a really nice Raiders Temple color match. So that's really exciting, a nice happy little accident. Standard military web belt. It is not the correct dark brown, but it's a good close enough, especially for Indy 5. We see that this is the kind of color belt that Harrison is wearing. My Raider style belt is actually just an Amazon find. One of my favorite Amazon finds. Whip is a Joe Strain. I believe this was built in 95 or 97. One of my favorite pieces, from what I was told by my buddy Trent, was realistically at one time a whiskey color, but due to its age and usage it is nice and darkened, and now looks more like an Indy 5 whip, which makes me really happy and really giddy, especially when we start getting into the Indy 5 cosplay. The whip holder is a Raider style whip holder made by Trent Ryan to emulate and copy a Crease and Corral, or as Joey Peter Green says, Crease and Corral whip holder, and is one of my favorite pieces that I have because it is so frickin' strong and robust. I've ran with this thing on and my whip has not gone anywhere. My Raiders styled holster, which I also use for Last Crusade, because while it is a Raiders color, it has very much a Webley profile to it and actually holds my Denex Webley. This was an eBay find by Trent Ryan, and he bought 3 of them and sent one to me and another to Morgan Loff, and we just love these holsters because they're really well built, and the guy who built them had never made holsters before, or hadn't made Indy style holsters before, and this one was the first one that he had ever made. And I really love the look of this thing. I like how soft the leather is. It's very well conditioned. Trent took great care of this, and I plan to do the same. It's just excellent piece and really adds a new layer to my Indy cosplay, because for the longest time I just had a Make It Jones holster, and now I have this, and I have a Spade Archer leather Temple holster, which we will see in just a moment when I switch over to Temple of Doom. My boots, as always, are Bostonians, and I know you want to talk about the hat on my head. I was saving that for last because this is my baby. This is my Fedorators, made by Jason Lavelier. This is a truck chase style Fedorators, and it is just too beautiful for words. This was a lot more dirty when I first got it, and in the initial videos I wore it, you could see how weathered and dusty it was, and just over the course of me wearing it naturally and for cosplay, it has lost a lot of that, but it's still there where it counts in the ribbon, and it's just a perfect Raiders hat. I can't really think of anyone else aside from maybe Thomas of Advantage who makes perfect Raiders hats. This just has all of the creases and all of the bends and folds that I've wanted out of a Raiders hat since I was a kid watching Raiders of the Lost Ark and wanting Indy's hat. So if you can ever get your hands on a Fedorators, either from Jason himself or secondhand, please do. They're incredible hats, and they just really, really complete your Raiders outfit. And I would also recommend, if you do get one of these, whether you're a 59 like me and can wear it comfortably, or a 58, always fold the sweatband. That's what Harrison did, and it really helps tighten up the grip on the hat, and just makes it feel more authentic. So, with that out of the way, let's move on over to Temple of Doom. And here we have Temple of Doom. Now there's going to be a lot of crossover pieces here because I am still collecting indie gear. It is kind of an eternal process, even when you have all the pieces, you want more. That is something that I have learned and that I am slowly coping with. But this is, for right now, my Temple of Doom gear. The jacket is my Wested Temple of Doom, which was built in about 2008 or 2009, from what my buddy Trent told me. I've made an entire video talking about this jacket and how much I love it and how it was a birthday gift from some of my most dearest friends to me. And this entire look, actually, the entire Temple of Doom outfit and film, is something that I have come to greatly appreciate, thanks in part largely to my good buddy, my brother from another mother, Kirk Brockman, who is the most OG Temple of Doom cosplayer that I know. And his love and admiration for that film has given me a new lease on it and love for it. And I really do enjoy being a Temple of Doom indie. So with that, we are going on to the shirt, which is the same What Price Glory Safari shirt, same bag and strap. The holster is my Spade Archer leather holster, but there is no Webley in it because, one, my Denix Webley does not fit into this. That even works better because we never really see Indy take out the Webley in Temple of Doom, and when he tries to, it's not there. So it is technically screen accurate to not have a Webley in your Webley holster. Pants are still the same, boots are still the same. The hat you're going to see a lot of as we continue on in this. This is my Vintage Harrison. I got this from Trent Ryan. A majority of what I have is from Trent Ryan. I'm just going to be very honest there. He bought it off eBay. It didn't fit him, so he shipped it over to me. And I love this hat because it serves not only as a really wonderful Temple of Doom hat, but it also serves expertly as a Crystal Skull hat and a Indy 5 hat. And this is just one of my favorite cosplay pieces, but also just one of my favorite everyday hats. But I'll give you a quick spin around so you can see all the details. But overall, this look, Temple of Doom, is one that I now really enjoy doing, again, because of Kirk. Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. My personal favorite film of the entire Indy series. And it's that way for many reasons. One, I love the story of Indy going after the Holy Grail. It's a very classic sort of archaeological treasure to go after. Almost everyone's tried to seek it at one point in history. I love the look of this film. This is where Indy kind of starts becoming the caricature of himself costume-wise. So as to where the Raiders outfit has a lot of nice shades of brown and gray and tans, this one's just all brown all the time, except for the tie, which is my favorite thing about this entire outfit. I love the fact that when Indy goes to save his dad, he needs to dress up for him. So the entire adventuring outfit is totally fine. Bullwhip, pistol on the hip, heavy-duty leather jacket, totally fine. But he has to impress his dad by wearing a tie. And that's the other reason I really love Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, is it's a father-son story, and my dad was the reason I am such a huge, avid reader and collector of history. So there's a lot of personal reasons that I love Last Crusade, not just for the aesthetic and the story. But I do love the aesthetic of Indy's outfit in this film. So, starting off, we have a vintage Cooper Sportswear Indiana Jones jacket. I've talked about this thing many times before. This is my first real Indy jacket, and I love it to absolute death. And thanks to Trent Ryan, it was given an entirely new lease on life with a tub of brown Picard. So it did not look gray anymore. It actually has nice browns to it, and it's brought out the weathering so that it looks more Last Crusade stroke 4 and 5 in style. It has the snaps like a Last Crusade should, although being a Cooper jacket, the snaps are hidden, though you can see the outline when you get really up close and personal with it. And then, of course, you can see the other sides. Shirt's the same, of course. Bag strap, bag, same. The tie is an Amazon find. I had to search high and low on Amazon for a cotton tie, because a lot of people tend to go with the nylon ties, which are too shiny, and Indy in Last Crusade is very clearly wearing a Second World War officer's tie. And finding an original one of those, or even a replica, is very expensive. So I went with the next best route and found a cotton black tie, which still does the same look justice. Holster, of course, is the eBay holster, as I said before, with my Denix Webley. The pants are not the same Crofton Barrow pants you saw before. These were the first ones I was talking about. These are nice dark brown, which really match the Last Crusade and Crystal Skull style pants. The hat, which is one of my favorite parts. I really love the look of the Last Crusade hat. This is a Tognerelli Vintage Fedora's Last Crusade with a slightly shorter brim. So it mimics very much Venice and the early parts of the tank chase. And I love it. I love the color, I love the fit, I love everything about it. Andrea really aces his Last Crusade hats. And I'm very happy to have this in my collection. This was given to me by Trent Ryan. Again, a lot of what I own is from Trent. This is just my favorite look. It's very late 30s, early 40s. It's very robust, very tough. And it just, for me, like when I think Indy, for some reason my mind goes to this image. I think it's because when I watched the rest of the series, I continually watched Last Crusade on repeat because again, I love the story. I love how it really does feel like a conclusion film. Even though we now have 2 more films to go over, so I'm going to get changed real quick, and there's not much of a change to do, but I'm going to change over into Crystal Skull. And here we have Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Again, I said I didn't need to change too much. Realistically, all I had to do was switch out the hat and put the bag over the jacket. For the other 3 films, Indy had always worn the bag strap under the jacket. And that was very much an ease of just being able to take it off and still be running around. With Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, I think the reason the bag strap sits above the jacket for the entire film instead of underneath is an ease of getting out of the costume for Harrison. There is a lot of behind the scenes of Harrison getting into the jacket first and then throwing the bag on top. And I like it. It's a bit of a switch up, and it was very much how I used to display a lot of my Indy cosplays when I first started out all the way back in 2008. But I still like the look of this outfit. Of course, I've got my Vintage Harrison on again to serve as my Crystal Skull because it really does look like a crystal skull. And I love this hat. And of course I've got my Cooper on because this Cooper serves perfectly as a crystal skull. And yeah, I mean, again, the rest of the gear is what we saw in the Last Crusade and in the Raiders and in the Temple. So now I'm actually going to switch out of this shirt and get into my Indy 5 look. And here we are at Indy 5, an outfit which is so familiar and yet so drastically different that I am really falling in love with it. I can remember when the first images of Harrison in costume came out, I and a lot of my other Indy cosplay friends, we were just like, oh, this looks like crap, it looks bad, what's wrong with the hat? And then we kind of realized that, well, it's a costume test. It wasn't the actual official outfit. They just wanted to see, you know, what they could do. And now we've got all these set pictures of Harrison in costume for both the flashback sequences and the actual film itself, and this is what Indy looks like. I've stuck with the Cooper jacket as this kind of really looks like the coat that Harrison is wearing, which is very clearly supposed to be a Raiders jacket, but it has a lot of similarities with the other film. But it's just kind of crazy to see that he's technically supposed to be rocking a really worn, torn, and repaired Raiders jacket, and that brings me a lot of joy. But underneath is where we start seeing differences. So he has a safari-style shirt, but there's no pleats running past the pocket. It's only on the pocket. And the pockets are pointed. This is a security shirt that I bought off Amazon, which kind of matches in look and color, except in the pockets for the Indy 5 shirt, and I really love it. It's actually short sleeve, so I'm not cooking like I was with the safari shirts. But I really like this. I like the color, especially what we've seen in the set photos. It's a nice shirt and is very much a nice modern update of the classic safari shirt that he's been wearing for 40 years now. The bag strap is different and the same in the fact that it's a Raiders-style bag strap, but due to Harrison injuring his right shoulder, he has now switched the bag to the other side. So that means that the buckle is sitting on the back instead of sitting on the chest. And of course, it's reversed. But the big thing that we have all seen from the set photos, and the big thing that's really got us like, well, what's going on? Indy is not wearing a gun rig of any sort. We do not see the leather belt. We do not see a holster. We see that he is wearing a whip, but that his whip is connected to the web belt on his pants. So we're trying to figure out where his pistol belt went. We're curious if there's an explanation for that, or if Indy has just decided not to rock with a pistol this time, which is very interesting. And of course, I've got my Joe Strain whip, which is accurate to Indy 5. I love it. I just love this whip. And of course, got the darker brown pants. Though we have seen in different set photos Harrison wearing pants that are very reminiscent of Raiders, so they're grayish pink, and then we've seen set photos of him in pants like this, which are a little bit more in line with Crystal Skull or Last Crusade pants. And then of course, I'm wearing the Harrison, which I said is a perfect mixture of Temple of Doom, Crystal Skull, and now 5. And I really love this hat, and I love this cosplay. I love this look for Indy, and it is now insane to think that we are merely a year away from the 5th installment in the Indiana Jones franchise. I can't believe it. I thought we were done with Crystal Skull, but of course, then again, I thought we were done with Last Crusade. But moreover, it's just really exciting to get to see Harrison back in the gear, to see one last adventure with Indy. So I'm just going to give one quick turnaround so you can see my Indy 5 cosplay. It's not 100% accurate, but it's good for what it is for me right now. If you want to see a really good Indy 5 cosplay, please check out my friend Brian Long. He is the perfect Indy 5 cosplayer. He's just got some of the best gear, best hat, best everything. He even found the correct bag that we've seen Indy carrying around in all the Italy shots, plus the book that is in that bag. There's a little travel book and then a little blue notebook. Brian has found both of those. It is just insane to me the amount of props that he is able to collect before anyone else is able to identify them. He is greatly impressive, and it's just one of my favorite things is for him to be like, oh yeah, no, it's just this thing. Oh yeah, it's that thing. Oh yeah, no, this is really simple. I just found it here. It's great. So yes, if you want to check out a really great Indy 5 cosplayer, please check out my friend Brian. But aside from that, that's all of my Indy gear, from Raiders to 5. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I will see you all in the next one. Fortune and glory, everybody. Take care.